No, I think it's about time we played. I think our players are tired of practicing against each other and want to play somebody else. We had a good practice. We actually practiced on Sunday, which is not normal. We had a good practice Sunday. Hopefully we'll have a good practice today and tomorrow and polish it up for the game on Saturday. Cal Poly's a lot better than anybody wants to give them credit for. I just, about an hour before I came in here, I watched their game last year, their whole game last year against Fresno State, because I consider Fresno State a pretty good Division I football team. And the score was 20-17. Fresno State was ahead. It's 20-17 all the way until the end of the third quarter. Now Fresno State kind of blew them out in the fourth quarter, but after watching that game, and I've watched all their games, but it's not against the opponents that I know anything about. After watching that game, they're as big as we are, they're as fast as we are, and hopefully they're not as good as we are.
Coach, are you using 4 years ago as a motivation, or are you trying to just think it's a new season? Don't forget about all that.
No, we used the 2 victories that they had here in 2006 and 2008. We used that twice during the fall camp as a motivation, trying to get them, when the dog days hit, was trying to get them to practice hard, even though they don't want to practice hard at that time of training camp. But other than that, we haven't used it. I mean, it's more about us playing well than it is about worrying about the opponent.
When you say twice, do you mean you were yelling at them during practice, or did you?
No, we always had a night meeting after practice, and we just brought it up. We actually we just read the article after the game from the newspaper. Read the article after the game, and it was just twice during training camp. Like they always do, they just sit there and listen, and then wait for you to excuse them.
Rocky, have you figured out much what they're going to run at you, or the offense?
No, that's. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how the players feel, but it's making me really nervous. Way more nervous than I normally am, and real early in the week, because I've done all the investigating I can legally do, and so we watched their film from last year, and they're totally a triple option football team. But then you get online and you read articles on them or listen to what they say on the radio and everything, and we know for a fact that they spent a week and a half or 10 days or something with the Oregon staff. So obviously they're putting some of the spread offense included with the triple option. I don't know how much of which they're running. So basically in practice, we're not running a game plan because we're splitting half our time against 2 completely different offenses. So it's making me, hopefully it's not making the players nervous, because it's gotten me nervous.
Can a team kind of sneak up and bite you early on in the season, game 1, because you don't know what's to expect there?
Well, even if you knew what to expect, a team can sneak up on you at any time during the season. Every year somebody loses to, not somebody, several Division I teams lose to Division I AA teams. Every year it happens. And it's more likely to happen when the lower division team is really, really good. I mean, it's happened to me 3 times in my career. It happened at Oregon State when I was an assistant coach. It happened at New Mexico when I was the head coach. You know, it happens every year to several teams. Now, normally when it happens, those teams end up in the playoffs. In their division, they end up in the playoffs. It means what it means is they're as good as the Division I team is what it means.
Is one of the downsides of having a team like this on your schedule is that if you win, everybody says, hey, of course you're supposed to win. If you lose, then that kills the season right from the beginning.
Well, first of all, this is a no-win situation for us, because we're supposed to win, and if we don't, then everybody's going to play it up as a big-time tragedy. Even if it happens, it's not a big-time tragedy. It's the first game of the year. And anybody that thinks that one game makes a season is not in this business. I mean, when it happened to me once before, we ended up in a bowl game that year. I mean, that same year we ended up in a bowl game. So this is our first game. We might play good, we might not, but gee whiz, we got 11 more of them and hopefully 12 more of them after this one.
Coach, what can we expect from Leon McFadden this season in the secondary?
Well, hopefully he's better than he was last year, and in my opinion, he was the best corner in our league. And we anticipate or we expect him to play at that level. And I would think he'd be better this year than he was last year. Now, we're also going to use him some returning punts. Last year, I think he returned 2 punts. This year, he's probably going to split time with Larry Parker, and they're going to alternate returning punts. So he'll have the ball in his hands and to use his athletic ability more than he did last year. So hopefully that addition to his duties will make him more effective on helping the team, basically with field position.
Coach, Miles means so much to this defense. What does he mean to you leading that defense?
Well, Miles is a great player. And I think on defense, our linebacker core is the best part of our team. There's good depth there. There's other really good players there that people don't notice or don't talk about because Miles is the best one as a pass rusher. And for whatever reason, great pass rushers get a lot more notoriety than great linebackers that take on blockers and get rid of blockers and make tackles. That's just the way it's perceived. So Miles is our best pass rusher off the edge. I mean, he's a good player. He's really a good player, but we have a couple other linebackers that I consider just as good. They just don't get the notoriety.
Is his work ethic infectious to the rest of the team?
I think Miles works really hard, but our whole team works really hard. I don't think it's an individual deal. I don't think we work as hard as we are gonna someday, but I think our work ethic has improved dramatically over the last 3 years. And Miles is an energetic guy, and sometimes a big play out of Miles helps to boost the whole team.
Coach, how comfortable are you with the answers you've come up with that receiver going to the first game?
I'm not comfortable at all. I mean, I've said this a couple times already, but I'll repeat it. The first real good day our receivers had was Sunday. Okay, they were so hot and cold during camp that one part of practice they'd be okay, the next part of practice they'd be terrible. The first real good day, they went from the first period to the last period of practice, real good day they had was Sunday. Now hopefully that's a really good sign that they're peaking at the right time. You know, now if they go out and play terrible or practice terrible today, I'm hoping it's a good sign that they had their best practice on Sunday.
How's Ryan done in just adjusting to them and it's new timing, new receivers, and for him making that transition?
In all the problems we have in camp with our wide receivers, it was never Ryan's fault. Ryan was throwing the ball where it was supposed to be thrown. He was throwing it on time. And I think the thing that Ryan does the absolute best is throw the deep ball. He's got great touch on the deep ball. And we have some receivers. They're young. We have some receivers that run fast. They can get behind guys, but they don't fade away from the defensive back quite like they should, or they drop the ball when it hits them in the hands, or they don't run through the ball. You know, they lose their speed as they start tracking the ball with their eyes. They don't run as fast. And then on Sunday, every ball that was thrown out there, they caught, and they were at the right spot at the right time. They ran through the deep balls, and they caught them. So Ryan's been putting the ball in the right place every time.
How many players do you envision being in the rotation?
At wide receiver, 4.
With these concerns with wide receiver, are you concerned with ball security at all? And you know, turnovers can let a weaker team beat you.
Well, I don't know what weaker team you're talking about, but turnovers always are the biggest factor in any close game. And this game will be a close football game. And turnovers are the biggest difference in any time. Anytime you play a close game, the turnover ratio is usually the deciding factor. I mean, in that game I told you about when they played Fresno State fumbled the ball on the 2-yard line. One play later, Cal Poly had scored a touchdown and made it 10-7. I mean, so that's always the case in close games. So I am concerned with ball security but I'm not concerned with the wide receivers. I might be concerned with the running backs and the tight ends because they're going to have the ball in their hands more than those wide receivers are.
Coach, a lot of teams are going to no-huddle offenses. Do you guys prep for that? And can we expect some of that from your team?
We do prep for that, and you're right. A lot more teams are going to no huddle, and Cal Poly has supposedly gone to no huddle because one of the articles I read was that the offensive linemen are getting in great shape because they have to run to the ball and stand on the line of scrimmage and not huddle, and they're speeding up. The linemen have sped up the way they play the game as well as the backs and receivers. Yeah, we practice it. We do prep for it. Because we run 2 offensive scout teams at our guys. We'll do it again today. We did it on Sunday. We'll do it today. We'll do it tomorrow. And more of it is not concern about our players being able to handle the speed, is that we start making assignment errors. Because as they're getting lined up, they have to get the signal from the sidelines, and it has to transfer a whole lot quicker than it does with a team that huddles. So we're not concerned with the speed of the game. What we're concerned of is assignment mistakes on defense. And then if you make an assignment mistake on defense in the spread against the spread offense, they have you spread from sideline to sideline. So there's a lot bigger gaps in your defense, and there's more big plays involved. And that's the newest thing in college football. Everybody's trying to copy Oregon because they get you going so fast. Now all of a sudden, and you're spread from sideline to sideline, all of a sudden a normal play that would be 5-yard gain is a 35 or 40-yard or 50-yard gain, and it's a touchdown. But the concern is not how fast they go. The concern is assignment mistakes because the players don't have enough or don't have as much time to digest the signal from the sidelines to their responsibilities on the field.
Is that something that every team needs to be concerned about? Pretty much, I mean, a lot of teams are bringing in that no-huddle. Is that changing college football?
Yeah, I think it's changing it dramatically. The other thing people don't realize sometimes, without huddling, you add plays that you get to run in the game. I mean, a normal game in the past, a normal game would be 60 to 65 plays on offense. Okay, that's what the pros are. The pros are around 58 to 65 or something like that. Now that the colleges have gone to this no huddle, and it is truly speed it up. It's not just standing there. They want to get more and more plays. So you'll get, like, I think Oregon now, I don't want to say a figure because I haven't checked lately. I mean, you're seeing games that are in the 90s, and offense has to play 90 plays instead of 65 plays. Where those number of plays add to the total offense in the scores too. The more plays you get run, the more yardage you usually gain, and the more yardage you usually gain, the more points you usually score. So even in the articles you read, it's we got to get more plays, we got to get more plays, we got to get more plays. And so I think it has changed it has changed college football. And then the teams that don't think they have the same athletic ability of other teams, now this might give you an insight into Cal Poly. When you don't think you have enough as much talent as the other team, you run the triple option. Because the triple option, you don't block everybody. You can double team people, and you read people that they don't have to be blocked. Okay? And it is a ball control offense that keeps the clock moving. So only a team that is very, very confident in their athletic ability will go to the spread. And Cal Poly's going to the spread. So does that give you an indication on what they think their talent level is?
As a defensive guy, what do you see as the natural counter to the kind of things that Oregon does and the kind of things that will be increasingly seen throughout college football?
People in the backfield. Okay, now you're not going to limit. You're not going to. People that run that offense are offensive coordinators and head coaches that believe you outscore people. People that believe defenses win championships, you huddle because you want to keep the game close, and you figure that sooner or later you're going to make a big play on defense that will change the momentum. The only thing I think you can do against the spread offense is cause them minus plays. So I think our defense is set up that way. I think you take more chances on defense against those kind of offenses because you want to put them in a hole. You cannot let them dictate the speed of the game. And the speed of the game slows down if they're getting tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Okay, now that sounds really good. Whether we'll be able to do that on Saturday night, I don't know. You'll see it just at the same time I see it.
Rocky, what are you anticipating from the crowd and the public and the fans, and maybe comparing it to when you first got here, the lead that it's taken?
Oh, I think the interest in the program has increased dramatically. You know, obviously by the ticket sales, you can tell that more people are excited about coming. I think we played entertaining football last year, and I think no matter what the record is, we're going to play entertaining football this year because we're going to be able to move the ball, and we're going to take a whole bunch of chances on defense to try to make big plays. So it's going to be very entertaining football. Hopefully people don't get hung up on a one-loss record, and they want to see just good, exciting football. You know, I think our crowd support is increasing daily, but it can go right back the other way if we don't play well.